What is going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday. The season's done. It's a wrap. This is the last episode of this format of show for the season. After this week, I will be playing Madden every week, just kind of hanging out for 45 minutes to an hour, same day, Tuesday nights, same day, same time, just hanging out, playing Madden, like we talked about. Just I don't know. Off season is kind of a different animal. There's not always a ton going on. So rather than me trying to fill 45 minutes to an hour, I figure I'll just play some Madden. We'll hang out. You guys can make fun of me playing Madden, and we'll kind of take it from there. Obviously, as stuff comes up, we'll talk about it on the show, but really we'll be playing Madden. So I get it if that's not your thing. If you've been here every single week and you're like, no, that's not for me, you're not hurting my feelings at all. I get it. It's definitely not for everyone, but we are going to have more to come with that in this episode, because I do need your involvement if you are going to watch. Before I do anything, here's that giveaway link. If you're new here, if it's your first time watching, fill that out one time for me, please. I'm going to post it multiple times throughout the show. You don't have to be here the entire time to be eligible to win, but you do need to be here when I am drawing the winner. So make sure you're kind of hanging out periodically, checking in periodically. If you're not here, you very well might lose your spot, might have to redraw. It's happened a few times this year, so unfortunate when it does happen. But how's the weekend? How's the weekend treat you guys? How's the week going? How's all that fun stuff? I see some comments flooding in. We got Steve. Good to see you, Steve. Joshua coming in from Minnesota. Good to see you, Joshua. We got Mr. Tully himself. Hello, sir. The man, the myth, the legend, MJ. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you hanging out. Steve coming in with a burning hot question already. I love it. If you have any questions, doesn't have to be football related. Could be anything as random. I think Dakota asked me about aliens one time. There's some fun ones. So feel free to ask away. Sway Coda says, yo, my palms are sweating these week eating my mom's sketty. Oh, Steve, flood with these burn hot questions. I love it, man. I love it. I think both of them are the same so far, though, so I'm going to uncheck one of them. MJ says the Super Bowl was boring. Defensive battle may look so off key and no one was in sync. May look like he was hungover. Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that. We'll be talking about that. Ron, good to see you, sir. Good to see you. The roast of Ben being that's pretty much what it can be. That's fine. I don't care. You guys can make fun of me. I used to be very big into playing Madden. When I was in high school, there was a time where I was like top, I think with Madden 05, I think I was ranked, the highest I got was like top 70. So I used to play a lot of Madden. Now with my little one, I don't play very much. I don't turn on my Xbox much at all, but it's not going to be pretty. Yeah. So that's where I'm going with it. That's where I'm going with it. Rhonda, good to see you. Hope you are doing great as well. Is it August? Is August good to go to Door County? Yeah, I think August is a good time. I mean, Door County's busy in the summer months. Busy, but yeah, I don't think you can go wrong going there in August. It's a good time to go there. Fall is really beautiful there too, if you can get up there a little bit later on in the fall, but August it's just going to be busy with tourists. Leave him alone. He already has no hair and no teeth. So what Chad's referencing, I get a weird amount of comments telling me that I need to get new teeth or I need to go to the dentist. I have all my teeth. My teeth are good. I go to the dentist twice a year. I don't know, this weird infatuation with my teeth. I think people, I don't know if it's my mouth structure or what, but I think people think that I don't know if they think that I'm just missing teeth or what. I take good care of my teeth. Thank you very much. And my hair, not that you guys care, but I buzz my head because my hair grows too quick, and I'm a very frugal person, so I hated going and paying for haircuts. So I buzz my head. Casey care. I know you guys don't, but okay, Brad, good to see you. I was picking for the kicker for MVP. I thought Patrick, what's good, man? Appreciate you swinging in. Nerd alert. Bill, good to see you coming in from El Paso, Terry, Pops, good to see you guys. Jen, good to see you. Holy cow, we got a whole lot of people watching. I love it. So here's the deal. If you guys are planning on watching the Madden things starting next week, I need your advice. We have a couple options we can go. We are going to be doing a franchise. We're going to just be playing through a franchise. I plan on incorporating people who are here weekly. There's a lot of people who are here weekly. I plan on incorporating you guys into the game as players on the game to kind of makes a little bit more involvement there. So we have two options. We could keep the current day rosters. We, keep inherit the same team we're doing now and just kind of play through that way. Or how I usually play Madden if I'm doing a season, we could go 15 years in the future and have 0 players that we know and inherit that team and play that way. That way, when we're updating players to be people who are in the stream, it's not weird. It doesn't like have a weird overlap. But it's completely up to you guys. So I do have a link. I found an online poll. That's why I was running a little bit late. There is a link. Vote for it if you'd like. If you're planning on hanging out periodically, vote for it. If you're like, I'm not gonna watch because I don't care about Madden, then I would say let's not vote, just because of the fact that it doesn't impact you, right? So that's kind of the dilemma I'm going with. I always enjoy the future because teams get mixed up a lot. There's just some teams have really good players, and you're like, who, you don't know anyone, you don't know teams, you don't know rosters. It makes it a little bit more difficult. Patrick said, "Oh, no, that's pretty awesome. Can the people pick their positions?" Yeah, I mean, I think depending on how crazy we want to get, obviously it's going to take time to integrate people. I'm not gonna go through and edit all the players to make it look like a person, just because, one, I don't always have pictures of people, and two, that would take so long. But I'm just planning on putting names in there. So, that way, if Patrick's out there, I'm letting people kind of call dibs on positions too. So whatever you're thinking, I know Dakota called kicker last week. So, hey, Jordan, good to see you, man. Let's go Sam Darnold before Josh Allen and Lamar. Crazy. That just goes to show that wins are not a quarterback stat. And that's not taking anything away from Sam Darnold, but that defense was swarming. Hey, Chris, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Rhonda, I know nothing about what you're talking about. Hey, that's cool, Rhonda. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time either. So you're in good company. But let's talk about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60 is in the books. We have Seattle hoisting their second Lombardi trophy, beating the Patriots 29-13. I was kind of surprised about the MVP. I don't know if you guys were. Kenneth Walker III walks away with the MVP. He rushed for 135 yards on 27 carries, no touchdowns. The one touchdown he potentially could have had towards the end got called back for an offensive holding. I honestly thought it was going to be a defensive MVP, very similar to Super Bowl 50. Brad brought it up earlier, but Jason Myers, the kicker, scored 17 of the 29 points. I know that the odds of a kicker winning a Super Bowl MVP has to be so bad. However, I mean, he scored 17 of their 29 points. Here's a fun fact for you, and I don't know that a lot of people know this, but did you know that a kicker once won the MVP of the NFL? It was the Washington kicker. I want to say it was the year they won the Super Bowl or the year after they won the Super Bowl. Now I got to look it up. I got to look up which kicker it was. Mark Mosley. He won the MVP in 1982. Nowadays, you can't even get a running back to win an MVP, let alone a kicker. I believe that was the strike season as well. I could be mistaken on that, but the odds of a kicker winning an MVP nowadays, I don't know how that happens. How does a kicker win an MVP? It blows my mind talking about it, but yeah. So I wasn't surprised he didn't win Super Bowl MVP. Jason Myers, that is. But really, I was surprised that it went to. Walker had a really good postseason, and he had 135 yards in the game. That's great. But I really thought it was going to go to a defensive player. You saw, I'm going to botch this last name, but Nuwasu had the pick six on an incredible play. I thought maybe he would get it. I know he didn't have any sacks to go with it. Had he had a couple sacks, I bet you he would have won it. But yeah, it felt like a toss up on the MVP. Usually you kind of have a sense of who's going to win the MVP, but I had no idea where it was going to go this year. I know the Patriots lost, but man, how good was Christian Gonzalez as well? It felt like he saved a couple really big plays, a couple like touchdowns, really. He was all over the field for the Patriots. The Patriots have a lot of talent there. And I got to be honest with you, I'm a little concerned that the Seahawks might be in line to be the like the dynasty of this era, strictly because they put together such good draft picks off of their Russell Wilson deal that is why they dominated the way they did in the Super Bowl. And if they can only get better and keep drafting as successfully as they have, boy, that could be that could be like the early 90s Cowboys where they had so many picks and they just hit on all of them that they were unstoppable. So I don't know. Overall, I was kind of a little disappointing like the game overall, I felt like was kind of a boring one. I mean, Bill said it here, terrible game. Sure thought it was going to be closer. Yeah, I just, it's wild. I was kind of going into it. I was thinking the Patriots kind of had a weird way of getting here. They played the Broncos without Bo Nix. They beat Buffalo. No, they didn't. They didn't beat Buffalo. Broncos beat Buffalo, but they had a weird, like, their path to the AFC Championship game was kind of a weird one. They had a really good defense, of course, which helps, but it felt like their schedule and their way of getting there was just an odder path, not paved with like really big challenges to get there. But I was like, maybe they can just keep it turning and keep it going for one more game, and it didn't. Their offense just could not do anything. Their offense looks so lost. The Seattle's pass rush just absolutely wrecked that front. So I don't know. I was kind of bummed like you were. I thought the game was poor, and really I was pretty disappointed with the commercials as well. I kind of full transparency. I didn't get to watch 100% of the game. My little man, I had to put him to sleep. He's been battling sleep, so I was battling putting him to sleep, and I missed some time with that. So I didn't get to watch 100% of the game. But I looked at the commercials, and two jumped out at me as I was looking at like the top ones that I liked. I'm curious what you guys had as your favorite commercial, but the two that I really liked, one was the Google Gemini, which I'm kind of borderline blat on it because it was another AI commercial. It felt like this year was just AI commercials, AI commercials, AI commercials. A few years ago, we saw it as like a crypto commercial, every other commercial at the Super Bowl. And this year was like the AI version of that. However, the Google Gemini one kind of pulled at my heartstrings a little bit because of the fact that it's a mom talking to her young child. They're moving into a new house. The kid's curious about the new house, and the mom's using Gemini to help make the house look like a home so the kid can kind of envision it. And as a parent to a young child, it tugs on your heartstrings a little bit. The other one that I really liked was the Xfinity Jurassic Park commercial, where you see the start of it. It's kind of going off the rails like Jurassic Park, the original one, did. But then the Xfinity guy fixes the power outage right away, and then everything is fine after that. Like it's such a nice theme park. This is great. Everything's fun. Thanks, Xfinity. To be honest, I had to look up who the commercial was for because I couldn't I couldn't remember it was for Xfinity. I just remembered it was Jurassic Park. One that caught my attention, and I was texting with the boys during the game or after the game, was the Ring commercial talking about the search party for dogs. And I don't know if it's just the paranoia in me of working in that world, of working in the kind of the tech world, and your data and how that is. But they're talking about this search party feature where if your dog goes missing, using AI and access to all your cameras to find missing animals, that gave me like no thank you vibes. And I was looking it up afterwards online, and the amount of people that are checking the Ring camera, and that feature is on by default, where some people have their cameras in their house. Which, first off, I would never have a camera. Some people have them in their bedrooms and stuff like that. Dude, security is not that great on those things. So have other means of securing your house. But I don't know. The Big Brother thing to me on that is just wild. I don't know. I listen to a lot of like cybersecurity podcasts. So just right away, it was like red flags for me. And then the other thing that I noticed, and I was kind of disappointed at, I had to Google it, but there's no Doritos commercial. Doritos commercial is always like, to me, the top dog, right? I was very surprised on that. I was very surprised. Oh, Bill, you disappointed me by not having legendaries for the Super Bowl. I think I talked about it last week, Bill. I didn't have legendaries because the weekend prior, I had legendaries on Friday, and then I made a buffalo chicken pizza on Saturday with legendaries, Scary Larry sauce. And my wife doesn't really like traditional wings, and my son, he'll eat like a chicken nugget or a boneless wing, but he's not huge on wings. So I don't go as often as I'd like, but we just ended up doing snack foods because of those reasons. But I accept the disappointment for sure. I don't know that I saw the Budweiser commercial. I probably did. Manscaped was good. The Manscaped commercial was good. Pepsi and Manscaped. Yeah, Manscaped was a solid one. Here's my thing with Pepsi. I'm not a Pepsi guy. I'm a Coke person. I said this in the boys chat as well. Pepsi reminds me of the Chicago Bears in the fact that Chicago Bear fans are always thinking about the Packers, are always talking about the Packers, are always like focused on the Packers. And it feels like Pepsi's like that with Coke. They're always focused on Coke. Coke's out here pursuing bigger and better things. And Pepsi's just focused on Coke. So, hey, good to see you, Mikey. Always good to see you. Hope you and the family are doing well, my friend. I think I missed the 50 Cent commercial. I was looking forward to seeing that, but I think I missed it. I feel like Budweiser always has really strong like commercials. Historically, over the years, Budweiser's always came to play when it comes to their commercials. That's why I was surprised that I didn't see Doritos in there. Doritos historically, over the last like decade, has had really good commercials. They would always have contests for fan entry for commercials, and that really, I felt like, brought up the level of the commercials. It felt like this year there is such a lack of creativity on commercials, and maybe that's easy for me to say sitting on the couch and not coming up with a commercial. But I feel like so much of it, like the whole AI thing, like I don't need to see another AI commercial. And then using AI images or AI like video to make people young again. Like I brought up the Jurassic Park commercial about how I like that one, but I also don't like how you're using like weird AI to make these characters younger. And I don't know. It just feels weird to me. It feels like a weird dystopian world that we're living in. But I don't know. Overall, overall, It's another Super Bowl in the books. But I'm with you, Kyle. I wasn't impressed. It was I when the teams aren't teams that I'm super excited about, I try to at least bank on the commercials, and the commercials just weren't there for me. I don't know if the expectation is just too high, but usually there are a handful that you're like, man, that was a really good commercial. The other commercial I really liked, now that I'm thinking about it, and I forgot to bring it up, was the Instacart one with Ben Stiller. I thought that one was really good, where he's trying to compete with the other guy, and and he tries to do a backflip onto the stage, hits the side of it, and falls down. I thought that was really good. But um, Richie, good to see you, man. Trying to cheer on U.S. hockey. Yeah, good to see you, man. Hope all's well. Hope the family's doing well. Hopefully, we can get together sometime. It's been too long, man. It's been too long. Well, let's get into these burning hot questions. Not a ton to talk about. I don't want to harp on too much stuff, but let's get into these burning hot questions. I see a few of them lined up, but feel free to start dropping them, and we'll get into them now. Want to say thank you to my friends over at Legend Layers for being proud sponsors of the show all season long. Today is the last episode with them as a sponsor for this content, kind of the same way they did last year. But I appreciate them immensely. If you are coming into town, head over to Legend Layers, and I'll tell you that even if even if they're not sponsoring my content, I've been a supporter of Legend Layers for a very long time, and I'll continue to be a supporter of Legend Layers. I love their wings. I love their sauces, and I'd recommend anyone who's coming into town to try them because they're damn good. Let's get into some burning hot questions here. We're going to start out with Steve. Steve says, if your child becomes a Bears fan, would you exclude them from your will? No, I mean, I think in theory it's funny to think about that, but I would be very surprised if my little man became a Bears fan, strictly due to the amount of time we spend at Lambeau Field and how much I feel like my Packers fandom has kind of rubbed off on him already. We go to Lambeau Field probably once every couple weeks. He loves going on the escalators at the Packers Pro Shop. We go into the atrium, kind of runs around a little bit. When you are in Green Bay and you live here, if you go to Lambeau Field during the off season, it is dead there. There's no one there. There'll be people in the pro shop, but up in the atrium is empty. So he loves going up there. He loves kind of running around up there. He loves the escalators, and we spend way too much money in the pro shop on him. But I would be very surprised, just strictly because of how much stuff we do with the Packers. Like, we go to training camp and we go to family night. And I feel like it'd be very hard for him to be like, I'm going to be a Bears fan. And after experiencing all of this stuff, that's not to say that it would never happen or it's not possible to happen. I would just be very surprised. And ultimately, if he was a Bears fan, it is what it is. I don't like the Vikings more than the Bears, or I dislike the Vikings more than the Bears. Maybe that's a cleaner way to say it. So I don't know. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a game, and he's free to make his own decisions. But no child of mine will be a Bear. No, it is what it is. Joshua says, "Are you watching the Olympics?" I'm not a big Olympics guy. I'm hoorah rah, go Team USA, all that fun stuff. But I don't generally pay attention. To be honest with you, I had no idea the Olympics were even going on until I saw something about it the other day. So, I think my wife likes to watch it every once in a while, or a little bit more than I do, but I should probably be better about it. Terry says, I love the Budweiser commercial with the Clydesdale and the Nicolet law. Yeah, Nicolet's was a solid commercial. I should have mentioned that one as well. I liked Nicolet. I feel like Nicolet does a really good job bringing in Charlie and Miles. Thank you for catching that one as well. And that is not me being biased. I genuinely thought they did a really good one last year, and I thought this one was a really good one too. Chad says, have you ever been to the curling facility in Green Bay? If you haven't, would you ever try it? I have not. Where I work, I know some people. One of my former bosses, he got into curling and was in a curling club. I have never tried it. I feel like I'll try anything event wise or kind of hobby thing like that at least once. I'm not a hyper competitive person by any means. That's why I feel like growing up, skateboarding was perfect for me because I was competing with myself and no one else. I'm just not a competitive person in general. So I don't know that I'd be good at it for that sake. But I would try it definitely for once. But I've never been there. No. Patrick said, heading to Green Bay next week for the Fan Hall of Fame ceremony. Can't wait. Best of luck to you, man. I hope to see that you win Fan Hall of Fame. That would be phenomenal. I would love to see you take it home, man. Best of luck to you. All right, I knew this one was coming. Kirby said, what's your favorite frozen pizza and why is Dakota's list of top 5 complete trash? So I was out to dinner with Mason tonight when you guys were texting the top 5. So I didn't see Dakota's. My favorite frozen pizza, I'm gonna get dragged for this. So we had a lots of matzo for the Super Bowl. It was fine. I feel like we paid, I think, $9 for the frozen pizza lots of matzo, which that is in that weird territory to me of like way too much money to pay for a frozen pizza. I could go get toppers. I love toppers. I could go get a toppers pizza for, I think they have deals for a large toppers pizza for like $8 or $10 for triple toppings. So when I'm paying $9 for a frozen pizza, that feels like just way too much. But we did it for the sake of it being Super Bowl and kind of having snack foods. But I don't think lots of matzah's that great. Maybe that's controversial. But my favorite, that's where I'm going to get dragged. My favorite frozen pizza, I think, has to be Jack's. I love Jack's pizza, especially if it's just me eating it. Growing up, my parents would have a freezer full of Jack's pizza. And I was a young skater punk, so I'd wake up 10 o'clock, I'd throw in a Jack's pizza, I'd crush an entire Jack's pizza, and then I'd go skateboard all day. And I actually just asked them, I was like, what? You guys must love Jack's pizza. We always had it as a kid. And Terry said, oh, we only had it because it was dirt cheap and you guys were kids and you're just eating us out of house and home. So we had Jack's pizza. But I love Jack's pizza still. I feel like they cook really nice and they have a really good crunch. The pepperoni's solid on them and they pair perfectly with ranch. So shout out to Jack's Pizza. They don't sponsor me, but if they ever wanted to, I'm just saying I love me some Jack's Pizza. I didn't see what Dakota's top one was, but Patrick says, how do you feel about us coming into next season? A lot of players up for free agency. Do you feel we still have a chance at taking the division, making the playoffs? I mean, great question. I think, there's so much that goes into it. And I think that's where I get a little frustrated sometimes when fans make it seem like it's just so easy to make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl because there's a lot that goes into it. We're going to have a lot of free agents. I think the Packers get rid of, I would not be surprised. I guess I could say, I think, but I think the Packers get rid of Rashawn. I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of Elton and they save a lot of money there. Work on re-signing Tucker to try to build in some more cap space. I don't know how aggressive they're going to be able to be at signing anyone in free agency. My hope is that you can still get Quay back. Whether we can or not, I don't know. But there's a lot of guys out there that you'd ideally like to potentially have back. But I also think that there's maybe other pieces out there that you could try to sign. I think the biggest thing is to try to really capitalize and hit on some draft picks. We're still yet to see how last year's kind of draft class is coming up, but I still think as long as you can stay healthy, this year we were decimated with injuries. I think I saw that we were third in the NFL with the amount of our cap space on injured reserve this year. And Arizona was number one. Arizona was like way off the charts. So I think it just depends on how people, if the team can stay healthy and really avoid those big serious injuries that plagued us this year. But I like our chances. I'm a big Love fan, and I think he can keep us in a lot of games. We saw him throw 4 touchdowns against the Bears. Should have been enough. Put us in a position to score 34 points. I don't know, 34 or 30. It might have been 37 points even against the Bears. McManus obviously had some misses there. So I think I don't know. I think there's a lot of promise there. Patrick says, "Thank you, Ben. Excited and nervous just being a finalist with other 9 incredible fans. I'd be really curious to hear your entire story sometime, man. Maybe we could figure out something because I think that'd be a lot of fun. Really rooting for you, man. Really rooting for you. Dude, don't hate on Jax. Don't hate on it. In order for you to like Jax, you had to grow up with it. Yeah, maybe that's part of it, Dude, where else can you get like a nice frozen pizza for like $3? Feeds you, it cooks up nicely. Dude, get out of here. Get out of here. I will defend Jax to the day I die. Jax is overrated, Ben. Heck, they tell you to grill it to even try to make it good. I don't know. I use a pizza steel, makes the crust amazing. That was kind of like my flaw with lots of matzah, is I feel like it didn't crisp up at all. Like it wasn't, like the crust wasn't crunchy. I don't know. I'll take Jax all day long. You guys are hating on my Jax. I knew it was gonna be a controversial take. Jen's got my back here. 100% would choose Jax over lots of matzah any day. Our area in Iowa, we have M&M pizzas, like little hometown shop, and they are bomb. So that's, I dig the smaller frozen pizzas. I think the tough part is when you are going on a smaller scale like that, they get to be so dang expensive that you're almost better off just going and getting a pizza from obviously a chain. So, take it or leave it. Like I know my parents don't like Toppers. I love Toppers. I think Toppers is solid pizza. And a large pizza for like $10. Steal of a deal. Bill says, is it true Jacob is restructuring his contract? I haven't seen anything about him restructuring. I think that the tough part with like Facebook right now, I don't know how they fix this, but the amount of like fake news out there is just wild. They are posting about players bashing this or bashing that, trying to be like controversial to get clicks, talking about players becoming coaches, players getting into the Hall of Fame, all of these fake things, contracts going with it. I saw something about Malik Willis saying that he didn't care about the money, he just wanted to be a Packer. All of these things are not real. So I think the good rule of thumb is wait till you see it from like Aaron Nagler. Matt Ramage posts some really good stuff. Green Bay Packers Daily, he posts some good stuff. I don't really post a lot of that stuff just because I don't keep up with it the same way. But until it's like from a really reputable source that you know and you follow, I wouldn't believe it. I would not believe it. Good questions, guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop them. I'm going to check out how this poll is coming. I don't know if it's going to let me see it real time. Oh my gosh, we are tied at 4-4 votes right now for the Madden poll. So if you have not voted and you are interested, if you're going to be interested in watching this, please vote. Please vote. We need to break a 4-4 tie. Otherwise, I'm going to do a coin toss. There's that thing again here for the voting on the Madden. If you want to keep it at the current roster, or if we should fast forward 15 years in the future and play those. And also, here is the giveaway form. If you have not entered yet, we're going to be drawing the giveaway. I don't know, probably in the next 10 minutes or so, depending on how questions are flowing in. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to keep dropping them. There's been some fun ones here. Patrick says, so down. I don't have much of a story compared to the others, though. I honestly just feel like just another fan. Only went to Green Bay once, and I've been a fan for roughly 20 years or so. My grandfather made me fall in love with the team. Watching Favre play, just fell in love, and knowing that this is the only team in the world owned by fans. Like, how could you not love this team? You know, Patrick, I know you say you only been to Green Bay once, and last year I did a podcast in the off season, a video podcast where I interviewed fans, heard fan stories. I did that back in 2017 or 2018 as well. And what I will tell you is I've met a lot of very, very, very passionate fans that have never been to Green Bay or maybe have been one time. And there are fans that are far more passionate than people that I know that live in Green Bay that are thousands of miles away. And I think that's what makes sports great, is that we can all have this kind of shared interest, and you don't need to be here to keep up with it and to love something. So thankfully we live in an era where we can kind of keep up with it, in the sense of, I talked to, when I did my podcast, I talked to one individual. I believe he grew up in Colorado as a kid, and they had a friend in Wisconsin that would record the game on VHS and mail it to them overnight so they could watch the Packers game every single week because they didn't have access to it the same way. So I think it's just awesome, man. I think that's what makes sports great, and it's always great to hear um people have, their story. No link for what? For the giveaway form, or for the, do you need me to enter you, Kirby? Is that what you're yelling about? Rhonda, I'll get you entered. No worries. Facebook's always silly about it. Pete says, I got to be summertime camp water boy in 1960. Interesting times. That is super cool, Pete. That has to be that's got to be an interesting story. Oh, Jordan, get out of here. You cry so much, Jordan. You're one of the you're part of that entitled town, aren't you, Jordan? Favre played to win. Wish the Packers head coach did the same. Optimistic Ben thinks we playoffs all next 5 years. I didn't say that we're going to be in the playoffs every single year, man. I just think that, I think entitled town like you makes it feel like it's so easy to get to a Super Bowl. Like I've said this a handful of times, but if it was so easy, I think like the Lions would get there. You'd think that the Vikings would have gotten there more recently than the 70s. Bears haven't been there since 2007, 2008 season, 2006 season. They haven't won since 85. There are teams that can't even make the playoffs. Like, it is just not easy. I know as fans, we think it's easy. But like, I think was it Patrick that said it? No, it's Steven that said it. Steven said that he can't even win his 12-man fantasy football league, let alone a 32 one. So, Steve said, burning hot question, what's the most adventurous activity you've ever done? Skydiving, bungee jumping, what adventurous activity is on your bucket list? I think, I don't know that I have like a ton of like super adventurous things. I think when I was skateboarding, I would do things that were probably not good ideas, as far as trying to do tricks down certain sets of stairs, more dangerous obstacles. So that's probably my most adventurous thing I've done. Oftentimes you're injured, oftentimes you're beat up, oftentimes you're just not in a spot where you should be doing it, but that's just part of it. But I've never done anything like super. I mean, I don't think I would go skydiving. I don't really think I've done anything like super crazy adventurous, but I think it's just some of the stuff I've done or tried skateboarding. Not the greatest decisions. And as far as adventurous activities on my bucket list, I just don't think I have any. My bucket list is more about maybe traveling certain places, doing certain things in that regard. And actually, I don't even know if I have much of a bucket list, but I don't know that I would try skydiving or bungee jumping or anything along those lines. I just, you know, I don't know. I just not my vibe, I guess. I say 5 is realistic, but my thing is, will we just be another wild card? I don't want to be that one and out team. I need us to win playoff games, make it to an NFC championship game. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the ultimate goal. Had the Packers not been so derailed by injuries this year, does it change things? Potentially. Um, I don't know. I think Jordan just likes to cry. He likes to complain. Jordan's always complaining. Whole game I went to him just complaining. I love Jordan. All right, Billy, I'll get you entered. There's still time to enter, guys. Also, I'm haven't pulled anything up. So, Billy, if you want to, I just reposted the link. If you do need me to do it for you guys, no problem. No problem at all. Dakota says, if you could choose next year's halftime show, who would you have play? This is a tough one, Dakota. Um, you know, this is a tough one. Who would I have play? Because I think we talked about this before. I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop, so a lot of we've had hip hop the last couple of years prior to Bad Bunny, but we had Kendrick, and then we had Dr. Dre with Eminem, 50 Cent. Like that was, had you asked me that back in like 2020, 2021, that's what I would have said. If I had to choose one now, my wife would be stoked if Ed Sheeran did the halftime show. So maybe Ed Sheeran. If I had to choose myself, I've been listening to a lot of Prof lately, so I'd probably say Prof. No one would know who the hell Prof is, but I think that would be my choice as of right now. Another really good one that I would like is System of a Down. I've been listening to a lot of System of a Down lately as well. Jordan says, just saying, went from youngest roster and no home field playoff games. Complain I shall. We wasted 3 seasons already. I mean, is it a waste? It's not like you don't have a finite amount of seasons. I mean, the other teams that had the youngest roster didn't even make a playoff spot. I don't know. Once again, I think I do think honestly, I think the Packers' flaw is having the youngest roster. I think you need some veteran leadership there, but I don't know, man. I think people think that it's just act like it's just, yeah, you just gotta snap your fingers. It's like Madden, dude. It's so easy to make a Super Bowl. It's just not, and it's not to say that the Packers are perfect. There's a lot of areas for growth, but I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to suddenly snap your fingers and make it work, but the stadium wouldn't make it through a Prof show. Dude, I love it. I love System of Down. Yeah. See, I think those are good options. I don't know. I think those are good options. All right, let's do this giveaway here. Well, let's see if we have a result. I don't know if we have a result on the it still shows a split. All right, we'll have to figure that out because I know Kirby said he couldn't vote on that or something. I don't know. Otherwise, I'll make a decision if we're going to be split. All right, I got to check to see if I need to. I got to see if I need to add Rhonda or what I got going on here. Kirby, I think you said I need to add you too. I'm going to change EFP to Jordan the Crier. All right. Kirby. And then Rhonda. And then I think Billy said that he needed to be added as well. I didn't see Billy either. All right. Bill, I think you're in here already. Yep, I see you in there, Bill. All right, I think I got everyone. If you have not entered, you have like a minute to do so while we do this ad read to keep the lights on. Before I transition away from burning hot questions, I do want to say a heartfelt, sincere thank you to Legend Larry's for being a sponsor of the season. Second season with us as sponsors, and I appreciate them immensely. From Larry to Amber to Dane, just all amazing people. Anytime you kind of work with a brand or a company that you really love, it's always kind of worrisome because you're like, is it going to ruin my perception? And if anything, it's solidified it even more how much I love legendaries because they've been amazing to work with and they're just great people. So I can't thank them enough. Put you as fan of the year. Get lucky. All right. Before I do anything, I want to say thank you to my friends over at Nicolet Law for making the giveaways possible. I just re-upped on some giveaways thanks to them. So we are set to go for the next year, I believe, of giveaways. So huge thank you to Nicolet Law, the Midwest personal injury law firm. Whether it's a crash, a slip and fall, or something else that leaves you injured and dealing with insurance companies and medical bills, Nicolet Law knows how to help. They walk you through your options, handle the insurance companies, and fight to get you what you deserve. No upfront fees, just local attorneys who show up when it counts, and you can reach them at 1-855-NICOLET or visit nicoletlaw.com. All right. 2023, good performance. We went to the divisional round just like, I don't know if you want to say 2019 was a good performance. They went to an NFC championship game where they got blown out by the 49ers because they couldn't stop a run defense. So I don't know, man. I think you and I could go back and forth all day. We're going to draw the giveaway, but I think you got to split rosters into sets. We have like the after Rodgers era with the current Rodgers era. So they're two different rosters at this point. It's like, got to be patient, man. Got to be patient. But I'll always be optimistic. Jordan, you calling this rough years of being a Packers fan just shows how entitled Packers fans are. Oh, man, it's so rough being us making the playoffs every single year and being competitive. Oh, boy, that's tough. Meanwhile, the Browns haven't smelled a playoff in, 4 years? Some teams haven't went to a playoff even longer than that. It's tough being Packers fans. Competitive every single year. Oh, boy, it's brutal. Brutal. All right, let's share this here. Good luck, everyone. Here we go. We got 1 through 50 tonight. So whoever the winner is, 1 through 50. Ben, my guy. Benny G, 1 through 50. Start us off, man. Start us off. I'm sure you're still here. I'm sure you're still here hanging out. That's the real problem. Twins. I mean, baseball in general. Baseball in general is not pretty. Not pretty at all. Ben, I know you're there. Ben and Callie. Benny G. I'm gonna give him like another 2 minutes. There he is, right there. Split right down the middle, number 25. So I went to Waukesha Sports this past weekend. Bought a ton of memorabilia there. And then I went to the pro shop, bought a ton of gift cards. And then I actually ran out of envelopes. So I have more prizes that are not in envelopes. But yeah, same deal. We have some jerseys. I think I have 3 jerseys that are hopefully going to last us over the next year. Whether they do or not depends on the luck of people drawing. But I was able to get a Santana Dotson jersey, a McDuffie signed jersey, Santana signed jersey, McDuffie signed jersey, and an Antonio Freeman signed jersey. So those will be the 3 jerseys this year that we do for giveaways. But Ben is kicking us off. Number 25 to start. He is taking home a Zeke Brakowski 8x10. The super sub. Love Zeke. Phenomenal backup quarterback to have. You talk about Malik Willis being a great backup quarterback. Zeke is the man, the myth, the legend. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for participating in these giveaways. And also thanks to Nicolet Law for making those possible. All right, let's do our story of the week and get out of here and have a great week. before I do that, I guess let's check to see if we had. Did I exit out? See if we have any different results. Still a 5-5 split on the Madden one, so I might have to decide myself or do a coin flip. I've told the story before, but I think it's a fun one, especially since it is the end of the season and before we know it, it is going to be the draft. But back in 1990, the Packers were in need of a safety. The Packers had Leroy Butler on their radar, and rumors were swirling that the 49ers were also interested in Leroy. Well, the 49ers held the second round pick that was right before the Packers. And in hopes of deterring the 49ers, the Packers called him just before the 49ers went on the clock. When Leroy answered, Packers GM Tom Bratz asked Leroy if he had multiple phone lines, to which Leroy said, "No, I don't have multiple phone lines." So Bratz stayed on the line throughout the 49ers selection. The 49ers obviously still could have picked them. They don't need to call a player and let them know that they're being drafted, but it is definitely not uncommon for a team to call the player, engage their interest in the team, talk with him, just make sure that he's ready to go, ready to commit to the team. So if they had any question marks, that very well could have deterred them since they weren't able to get a hold of him. Well, the Packers obviously ended up drafting Leroy in that second round pick, and he went on to have a Hall of Fame career. But what's really interesting, at least to me, is the Packers tried this move again during the 1996 NFL draft when they called a linebacker out of the University of Miami a few selections ahead of theirs. Unfortunately for them, this linebacker had multiple phone lines, and Ray Lewis received a call from Baltimore Ravens just before the Packers were set to select him. I can only imagine, like, to me, that's still one of the biggest what ifs in Packers history. They have Ray Lewis on the phone. We are going to draft you, Ray. You are going to be a Green Bay Packer. Get ready. And then Baltimore swoops in, makes the selection for arguably the greatest or one of the greatest linebackers in NFL history. But I can only imagine how Super Bowl 32 would have went had we had Ray Lewis there, stopping the run, stopping Terrell Davis from running all over us in that Super Bowl. But one of the biggest what ifs to me in NFL or in Packers draft history. But yeah, I don't know. Here's the link again for Madden. Let me find that here. But I got that story from Leroy's book, and I thought that's pretty interesting. The Packers were I thought that's interesting that the Packers are just trying to jump in, block people from calling. But there is that poll. If you do want to decide if we are going to keep current rosters or if we're going to use rosters in the future for 2000, what would be jumping like 15 years in the future. I always think it's fun to do like players that you don't know, because then every team's just a complete mix up. But some people like to, Nathan says that's a heartbreaking story. Isn't it though? Like, think about how different, there's a lot of what ifs in NFL drafts for the Packers. The biggest ones, probably the 1989 draft, taking Tony Mandrich over Barry Sanders. I still think from a butterfly effect perspective, that's the best decision for the Packers. That's the best thing that could have happened to the Packers. At that time, the Packers didn't have one decision maker. They had a voting system on who they were going to draft. So during that draft, one person wanted Tony, one person wanted Barry, and then a person was the tiebreaker and went Tony Mandrich. Because of that, and because of how that draft class went, the Packers ended up putting in Bob Harlan in place of being the sole president and creating the structure that they had of hiring Ron Wolf and bringing him in as the sole GM and giving more structure to that. So a lot of people are like, oh man, if we would have drafted Barry Sanders, we could have had Barry and Reggie and Brett, and it wouldn't have went that way. The Packers wouldn't have brought in Ron Wolf, and the rest of the dominoes wouldn't have fallen the same way. So I think a lot of people harp on that pick of like, oh my gosh, but the outcome of that has now created over 30 years of great, no matter what Jordan says, 30 years of great Packers play. And we're very fortunate for that. Jordan's not fortunate for it. Jordan's upset, but but taking Ray Lewis, it didn't seem like there's not like a other side of the coin, right? Like you missed out on Ray Lewis, so now these positive things happened. It's just you missed out on Ray Lewis, and then you lost Super Bowl 32. I don't know. That's another big one. Like, what if Lombardi doesn't take the Packers role? Smart that the Packers gave him the head coaching and GM opportunity, and just like kind of let him have the keys to the castle. But I'm extra sassy with Jordan. I had to listen to Jordan roast me for 4 hours at the Packers Ravens game. The least I can do is be a little sassy towards them. All right, guys, I am getting out of here. I hope you guys had a great time hanging out. I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate all the comments, hanging out, all the interaction, even from you, Jordan. No, it's all love. But yeah, I hope to see you guys here, same time, same place next Tuesday, where we're going to be playing Madden. I don't know if it's going to be in the future or current day, but we are going to be playing Madden, hanging out, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, have a good rest of your week. No football, so not sure what we're doing with our weekends, but till next time, see you next week, same time, same place. And as always, go Pack Go.